Hey, everybody. Thanks for downloading this episode of the Black and Gold Podcast, Postgame Edition, brought to you by Appalachian Commercial Real Estate. They provide professional real estate services in the Boone area, and they provide sales, leasing, consulting, and appraisal services to owners and users of commercial real estate. And if you want more information about that business, go to AppalachianCRE.com. It's a good-looking website. You can learn a lot. And Big C is going to give you the number to call or text the president himself, not Trump, but James Milner, which is almost just as important. Charles, go ahead.
828-719-0408.
Almost as important. I didn't say he was as important, just almost. Okay.
04 is very interesting. It's a very interesting, situation we got here. 04, which is the number of Boise State turnovers, and then us. 0 and then 4.
In 08,
08
which is what it felt like.
Is like the number. Yeah, 08 is like the number of passing yards it felt like we had all night.
Yes. So let's just jump into it.
We're starting hot. We're starting hot, AJ.
So let's just jump into it. For those of you that are listening for the first time, I'm Alex Johnson, your host. With me, the world's most state fan. He is Big C. This is our post-game show, and we are talking about the 47-14 loss from the Mountaineers to Boise State. I gotta say, I posted this last night in the 333 Club, our private Facebook page. Shout out to the supporters of the show that are in there with us. Every year there's a narrative going into the season that you kind of build off from the previous season to say we're going to be better, we're going to be worse, or whatever. And I kind of backtracked 5 years because that's the last regime change that we had 5 years ago. So 2020, with COVID and everything else and all the uncertainty there, we didn't know week to week we're going to even play a game. There was some sloppiness certainly with 2020. That was a 9-3 season, but I honestly have blocked that year out from my brain. That was not a fun year. 21 with Chase Bryce, a lot of returning skill position players. You didn't really know, and then it ended up being a really good team, a really good season. 10-4, win 10 games. It's a special year. 10 in the regular season, by the way, which is good. 22, you felt even better. You're like, well, Chase Bryce is coming back. You had a lot of skill position players coming back. This is good. And then we start off September like, yeah, this is great. Like we're back in the saddle. We're back, and we end up being soft. That was a soft team. 6-6, missed a bowl, squandered a lot of great opportunities to capitalize on what was an amazing start to the year. 23, a lot more uncertainty. Chase Bryce is gone. A lot of key skill position players are gone. We weren't that good last year. You kind of talk yourself into it. Berger gets hurt, and then Joey Eastwood walks through the door with his poncho in his side holster. All right, and he's got the gunslinger, and then outside of a super improbable blocked kick returned for a friggin' touchdown. That's a 10-win team. In 23. It was a good team. Now, we really started off rocky, went on a streak. It was a good team. 24, you're like, all right, we're going to be even better. Let's go. And we weren't. We were worse. Last year was a bad team. This year, I made the decision, and I've said this several times, I got nothing for anybody. I'm not going to, and thankfully, very little has been known about the team. Very little has been released by design. I'm just going to take it week by week. And that's what I've done. And what's ironic is I was really excited after the Charlotte game, but Dow Loggins said, don't get too excited. We got a lot to clean up. So I thought about it, said it on this show, Charles. I'm not going to get that excited. Actually, I see what he's saying. Okay, fine. I'm going to wait. And I've waited. And turns out 4 games in, we're not good. I said it last week. We're not good. And last night, we had an inferior offensive line to protect A.J. Swan. We had inferior quarterback play that turned the ball over again and again. 2 pick sixes. It's unbelievable. And I do think that while we did get in their backfield, we had several tackles for loss. when you put your defense on the field for close to 40 minutes, they're going to give up points. You can't hang your defense out there with good protection, by the way, against a team like Boise and just hold them for 40 minutes. You can't do it. We're not good. It's not a good team.
The levee finally broke, it's 27-14. We thought we had a chance. But, man, that was the beginning of the end, right? What we saw in the first quarter was exactly what we've seen in the previous 3 games. Penalties, turnovers, right? Like the cleaning up's not been cleaned. Like, get some bleach or something because it's not happening. It's, it's one thing for me to be like, we know what the problems are. All right, fix it. Fix it.
Yeah.
We haven't. It's not even come close. We've actually gotten worse.
We've gotten worse.
And the defense can only do so much, right? I mean, I thought they played pretty good considering.
They're on the field for 40 minutes.
yeah, considering. And it was kind of like the same thing when we played Southern Miss. Like, the defense did enough to give yourself a chance, but there was zero offense. I mean, this is the worst offensive performance I can remember in a long time. I'm not talking about this year.
I can't think of a worse one. I can't think of a worse one.
184 yards.
2
of 13 on third down. 2.3 yards per drop back. What's the point? What are we doing here? So, and this is going to kind of steamroll into another discussion topic here. Is JJ Cole, like, does he have secrets that we don't know about, that like he can't get hurt or he is so hurt that he can't play? Because what's the deal?
You didn't check the 2 deep this week?
I was looking. This is back-to-back games. Someone throws 3 picks. Sorry, I had that wrong. Did AJ Swan only throw 2?
He only threw 2.
Yeah. So
Billy Wiles threw. Yeah. And what's really funny is, so Swan obviously. And by the way, I'll say this at the very beginning of when we started the show. I'm not going to sit there and name call and slander a player. I feel bad for AJ Swan. That's a bright light shine on a young man. That sucks, but I can't say what it's. I mean, we're not name calling. It's just is what it is. Like, you just kind of sit there and see the performance, and it's not good. Then you put in Noah Gillen, and he looks like a. I mean, and here's what I think is a microcosm of just a representation of this season so far. What happens when Noah Gillen's back there? The first action that happens with him standing behind center, what happens? Early snap over his head. We're like, oh no, I mean, thank God it's a penalty, or whatever. But he's sitting there. So you yank him out. You're like, okay, that's not going to work. And this goes to your point about JJ Cole. And then here comes Billy Wiles. And then what's funny, I got a text message. I can't remember who it was from. I think it was from Tristan. It's like, why are you putting Noah Gillen in there in this point? Like, Billy Wiles has started games before. Like, he's an FBS quarterback and he's old. Like, he's like 23 years old. Don't put in the 18-year-old, put in the 23-year-old. And what does he do? On his second pass, he throws an interception. You're like, all right, well, maybe that's why you put in the kid first. But then to your point, JJ Cole must be hurt. Must be.
Yeah, he must be. I don't know. Real hurt. And even, last night, and we never do this. We get on here and we say, hey, we've never talked about anything from last night. But in one group, I was like, I'm going to say something. What are we doing putting Noah Gillen in these situations? Down. Like, if we expect him to hang around, I mean, this isn't the developmental world anymore. So it's like, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and throw this freshman in here. We're losing like crazy. And see what happens here.
Yeah, offensive line's not really doing what they're doing. AJ Swan's getting hurried and hit and harassed, and he's been sacked 3 or 4 times. And go get him. Go get him, Noah.
And Noah Gillen was supposed to get reps against Lindenwood. and he didn't.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you're supposed to have happen. He didn't because he couldn't. Because turn the ball over.
You were too busy scraping by FCS Lindenwood.
Where are you finding 6 wins, AJ? Where are you finding them?
Nah, I don't see him. What we said was before Southern Miss, or I guess I should say I said, depending on how we play, if we beat Southern Miss, I would feel better saying this kind of we're moving and walking and talking like a bowl team. And we did the opposite. We got smoked by Southern Miss. When I say smoked, actually, going back, I don't want to re-legislate the post game, but really it was we couldn't stop shotgun blasting our feet off against Southern Miss, and you're like, well, great. And then what's the line? Well, we gotta shape some things up. We gotta you gotta tighten up. All right, same thing. Get out the shotgun. We're just gonna blow the toes right off our feet. And that's what last night was. Way more. We were never in that game last night. I mean, we were never in that game. Score wise, you could say, well, it went from 21-0 to 21-7. I mean, yeah, that's true. I think at one point were we 10 points behind? Let me get back to the play-by-play. Were we 10 points behind at one point? Was it 24-14? No, it wasn't. It was never. Yeah, it was 27-14. That's what it was. So at one point it was 24-14, I think. No. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just ignore what I'm saying. It really doesn't matter. We were never in that game. We were never in it. Rashad DeBinion had 100 yards rushing, 119 yards rushing, and total yards for the whole team was 184.
Yeah, I mean, if we weren't handing the ball off, I mean, we were going backwards. It felt like.
Yeah.
It tells you a lot about. We're doing a lot of blame on us, right? But it was us.
Yeah.
Boise had a little bit to do with it. There were a couple of pass plays where it felt like they were a little early in coverage. And you're not getting those calls when you're 2,000 miles away from home. You're just not getting them. Well, and we couldn't find Jaden Barnes. Like that's to me was also incredible.
Well, actually, yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I do think 11 penalties and pick sixes. I mean, that certainly is like we're doing it to ourselves. I do think Boise was clearly better though. They had better players. I mean, their front seven was better than our offensive line. I think they won on both lines. Jaden Ramsey, I can't remember if he ended up playing the whole game or not. He was limping along on the field. I know that. I think we were missing our starting right tackle. So you're going to get injuries everywhere, but the eye test at the line of scrimmage was not great. I remember the first possession that Boise had. I was like, man, Matson has a lot of time. And Robert Smith on the broadcast, he was like, well, yeah, you're going to make this kind of plays when you have a lot of time to throw. No, that didn't always remain the case. He didn't have time all the time, every single snap, but enough of them where he picked us apart and had a great game. What do you have? 4 touchdowns, I think. I think that's what he ended up having. But I think they were better. They were a better team.
I didn't look at their stats. No. I didn't want to. But I will now. Their quarterback had 4 touchdown passes, and he's 5'10".
Yeah,
and he's not like Kyler Murray, 5'10". You know what I mean? He's like kind of a little bit of a statue, kind of a funny looking dude, and you're just like, how does this work?
He spells his name the right way, though. I like that. I like how he spelled his name. He's got that going for him. How the tables have turned, because Boise did not look good against South Florida at all. We looked good against Charlotte, and now my question is, how bad is Charlotte? Charlotte is horrible. I mean, they struggle to beat Monmouth at home, and we struggle to beat Lindenwood. So, I'm not throwing stones here, but that Charlotte performance is so overrated right now. I feel bad. Look.
Don't worry, Charlotte's playing. South Florida next on Friday. They had a bye week this week, which we did too. We had a bye week. We just
had a bye week and still play like that, and it's hard. It is. It's hard to travel time zones. I mean, we traveled 2,000 miles. I get it, but what are we here to do? Like the time zone didn't spot us, 30 points. The time zone didn't create a 30-point difference in that game, or create 11 penalties, almost 100 yards of penalty yards. You can't just write that off. I didn't think I didn't think we could beat Boise this week, and I hate to say that. Like I didn't think it'd be close. I don't know if I thought it would be like this. That it got out of hand. It's like wow, but not protecting the ball. I mean, not protecting the ball, keeping our defense on the field. At some point, like if one side of the ball is playing so badly, it doesn't really matter how good the other side is.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
And
Like,
it goes completely unnoticed unless you're really, really, really like thinking about things. And how many people, actually steps back and say, you know what? We gave up 50 points for the most part, but our defense played good. That's just so hard to say. It's really, really like to get that out. Be like, you know what? Yeah, it was. That was actually a good effort, but it really was. It just felt like that thing was over as soon as that pick six happened. Stared him down. Dude sat on the route. Dude made a good play. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't a spectacular play.
Yeah, it was more of a bonehead play.
Yeah, it was just kind of like it reminds. As soon as I saw that, I was like, man, it's Joey Aguilar throwing that ball to the East Carolina defender, like at home, and we go down, and because East Carolina was so bad, we were able to like win. But that's not. We didn't play East Carolina, yesterday.
No,
we played a Boise State team that may or may not be good either. They may not be great. We don't know. They're going to get to their Mountain West schedule and they'll probably beat some people and things of that nature. But the way we played yesterday is not even Air Force good. That's scary.
Yeah.
Like, are we even like a top 30 team in the G5 right now? I don't even think we are. Are we a top 100 team in the country? That's questionable. The way we're playing. That's not to say that the talent can't get it together on a day and beat someone and we all walk home or go home happy. That's basically all that's happened this year is that we beat Charlotte and we went home happy.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is going to really present itself is it's just funny how the tables have turned. Oregon State is 0-5.
0-5.
And they played Houston pretty close. Played really close. It was a one-possession game. Oregon State had a chance to win. I'm sorry. Does it matter that they're 0-5? Does it matter that they're 0-5 coming in?
No, where do it's kind of hard to put ourselves in the position of next week, whether it's next Sunday morning, next Saturday night.
Yeah.
What's going to happen, though, if we lose to an 0-5 team? I don't care what their name is.
At home.
What's going to happen if we lose to an 0-5 team that has to travel multiple time zones and we lose at home?
Mm-hmm.
That's scary. I don't want to be there. I don't want to think about it, but we are because we're thinking about it because that is how concerned we are about the way we played, especially the last 3 games. Hell, all season. Let's forget it. I'm not trying to sugarcoat this anymore. Like, we played this terrible all year.
Yeah.
It's just the scoreboard for one game looked different.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so glaring in just a handful. Again, like quarterback play and dropped passes have been the Achilles heel. That has been we might have like a broken pinky, but our leg got sawed off, right? And the leg that was sawed off is quarterback play, drop passes. Like that's whether it's from, and there were a couple passes actually they were just dropped. No excuse. Plenty of bad passes. We're used to that by now. And those 2 pick sixes, and that has really steered the ship. And man, football is such a crazy sport because you have to do things well at so many different types of areas of play. And if you don't, then it sinks the whole thing, no matter how good another area of the team is playing. So, like, I watched, for example, some of our open field tackles last night. I thought they looked more physical, more intense than they did at all last year. I think that, little things like that, I'm like, yeah, we look better. But so what? The score is so lopsided. Like, how are you going to, like, say, yeah, but look, we tackled well a couple times? Like, well, and
We
we
have
did get in
done,
the backfield.
yeah,
Had a lot of,
we have done that all year, though. I mean, that is obviously a marked improvement. Is that at least when we're going to tackle you, we're going to hit you.
yeah.
We do have that going for us. But outside of that, like, what? How have we gotten better?
Well,
I don't think we had. Like, we're a lot worse than we were at any point last year.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. South Alabama last year was not great. We got out physical there,
Mm-hmm.
but that was the first chapter of the book of last year of soft defense.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just not a lot to say. I mean, as much as we're going to sit here and try to explain some things for another few minutes, I don't. There's not a lot more to like show. Like what happened, and we got ran off the field, and we didn't give ourselves any chances, and we didn't have 200 yards of offense. You told me that, when we're 24 hours ago, AJ say we're gonna have 184 yards of offense. Be like, cool. When am I turning the game off? And y'all know I don't do that. I don't walk out of the stadium. We're not those type of people. But that's what you would think.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, there's no way we're winning that game. It's impossible.
Yeah, you'd be right. Yeah, you'd be right.
It's impossible.
The big difference between last year and this year, though, in terms of on the field stuff, is we were behind 14-0 and like playing from behind pretty quick. Not because the defense was soft, it's because we gave hand wrapped a score. And when I think back to that South Alabama, now to last year's team's defense, did the same thing. That opening drive against South Alabama, they marched right down the field, scored. This team did that too. It wasn't quite as quick and like ugly. It took 5 minutes. It was a 5-minute drive for Boise to score, and they did score on the opening drive. Like, we've come to. I mean, goes back 10 plus years. Appalachian, opening drive, score. Okay, we buckled down a little bit, and that's actually a little bit of what happened. But again, when you are so lopsided, when for every minute you spend with the ball, the other team spends 2 minutes with the ball, you're just not. It's just not gonna. And think about this too, like that all happened. Like they had twice as much time with the ball as we did, and we gave them 2 quick scores where we got the ball right back. We gave them 2 quick ones, and then we had it right back to go out there again.
Very, very underrated comment right there, AJ. Usually when you give up defensive scores, the time of possession will be lopsided to the team who gave it up. And we still couldn't even like cut into that. That's a ball knower right there. Good job, AJ. I really appreciate that.
Listen, hey, when it comes to this stuff, I got to bring my A game to make Big C proud. It's what I got to do. It's what I got to do on dreary Sundays. But folks, this isn't fun. It's not fun to watch self-inflicted injury here to ourselves. It's not fun watching turnovers. I tell you, like I remember back in 2011, DeAndre Presley was playing so bad, and we're like, yikes. And then Jamal Jackson came in there and played really, really well. Gave us a little bit of a boost. 2011 wasn't a great team. We ended up getting beat by Maine in the playoffs. We looked terrible in that game, but at least Jamal Jackson was a little bit of a spark. He had an arm. There was on a throw he couldn't make. He was athletic. He was a big dude. And, DeAndre, notably went to the other side of the ball, played DB, did a good job. But I don't see Jamal Jackson walking through those doors, or like we're getting hurt at that. And AJ got hit all night. And again, like I'm not AJ Swan wasn't sitting there like Maddox Madsen was, comfortable and like just throwing the ball away. There were times that he's throwing that ball, he's getting hit, he's getting drilled. I think they showed a stat at some point early in the second half. I think that's when it was, when they said he was hurried, I think 7 times, he was hit 5 times, he was sacked 3 times. I mean, dude takes licks. We've mentioned this on the show,
Yeah,
but
he does.
you know, you got to protect him. I mean, that's part of the equation. It's not all of it, but it's part of the equation. Like, you got to keep him standing upright. You know, you got to help him out a little bit. Yeah, and so that was rough too. So,
And whatever those numbers were, I mean, he didn't drop back a lot. Like, we didn't run plays.
right.
Was it 20, 28, 29 dropbacks? I mean, like, those are,
We ran less than 60 plays yesterday.
I think it's 57 if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Um,
Where they ran 80. Or did they run
yeah,
80? Let me see.
I don't think they ran 80. They just,
No, they did 82.
82.
Yeah. 82 plays.
Cool.
Cool. Cool. So, so all right.
You know, we have a job here, and that job is to make people's plane flights shorter. Coming across the country, I don't know if it's working or not.
Yeah, maybe
sorry,
not.
you're gonna have to get up and use the potty at some point.
Yeah, no, there's just not a lot of good, honestly, to talk about, and I hate saying that because I love Appalachian State, and I want us to see us be competitive, but we are struggling in some very key areas that I would say the two top ones are certainly penalties. That's a big one. I don't want to downplay that, but like when you were handing the ball over and you were there was how many passes last night were tipped or like almost intercepted. Like it felt like another 5 were close. Maybe not 5, but enough to like make my heart stop a little bit.
So all Boise heard all week was if App's going to get you, they're going to get you in the air. So their DBs stepped up and made it different, and their front seven made sure that their DBs were covered. You know, that they had their back.
Yeah,
and that's I think that's what people would say. It's complementary defense.
Yeah,
you know, one side helps out the other, and I mean, if we don't have time to breathe,
yeah. One thing that I last night I listened to because I was frustrated. I was just like, whatever. I was being a little snarky last night. For those of you that picked up on it, but I listened to like a post game, like a fan post game deal with Boise, and I don't know what drugs they were on. They were like, you know, we knew we had to stop this high octane, you know, passing attack from Appalachian State. You know, we knew we had to contain Swan somehow. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like this is the problem when you're still going by stats from week 1. But it's like,
right, and that's why you can't sit here and say that they are averaging, you know, third best passing offense, blah blah blah, only giving up 60-yard a game on the crown. It's and you know, me and front row Joe listened to one of their fan deals, one of their fan podcasts, but they were like, they had their laptop out in the middle of the, you know, of you know, probably connected to some Wi-Fi at some bar, but you couldn't see the bar, you could see the street, and had like 4 microphones. They're all sitting around it like it's the only television in Idaho, and they were junk talking us like a lot, like pretty bad. They were talking blowout. They were kind of dissing us, and you know, our front seven is going to get to them, and just a little bit of everything. Like, you know, I was kind of getting mad listening to it. And I was like, man, we're not that bad. Guess what? They were right.
Spade is spade, baby. That sucks though, because there's nothing worse than the opposing fan calling their shot. There's nothing worse than that. Like,
oh, it hurts. Yep.
Them saying, "Oh yeah, you guys are blah blah blah." And how many times does that happen to us? Like, hardly ever. I mean, but I guess you remember moments like that where it's like, I don't need that in my life. But all we can do is wait for another game, home game, Oregon State. I'm sure we'll have a fun, information-filled week of what to expect, and go from there. Last non-conference game, and just a poor showing, you know, in the battle of the brands, a poor showing. But hope everybody had fun. Hope everybody enjoyed their trip and showed out. The broadcast mentioned how many people were there making noise and enjoying Boise. So hope everybody travels safe. Charles, is there anything else to say?
About this game, no, there isn't. I thought about talking about what was going on in the Sun Belt yesterday.
Yeah, what happened?
I mean,
Georgia Southern got smoked by JMU.
Yeah, that happened. South Alabama, I think, fell to 1-4, but they're much more. They probably look better than us, honestly. Arkansas State is also 1-4. That was a team that people thought might compete in the West.
ULM smoked them.
Yeah, and Arkansas State was up 10-0, and then let that happen and lost 28-16. Old Dominion got by Liberty. Liberty's 1-4, not Sun Belt, but relevant. ODU's 3-1. Southern Miss beat Jacksonville State by 17, and then Louisiana and Marshall went a double overtime, and Louisiana won 54-51.
Oh wow.
No defense in that game. Obviously, overtime games are going to have the points are going to be elevated.
Yeah.
But I still don't think anybody knows what the Sun Belt has except James Madison just kind of bullying people a little bit.
Maybe ODU's good. Maybe this is the year they're good. Who knows?
It could be, man. They always flash a little bit early. They go and beat Virginia Tech. Obviously, that was taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
They played well against Indiana. They didn't lose by a lot. But they get Coastal at home next week. Coastal kind of they beat the brakes off of South Alabama last week, and that was surprising because Coastal hadn't really done much of anything. But they got a little bit of so 10-18, Old Dominion versus James Madison might be the conference's game of the year at this point. Like that might be a division decider. That might be for home field advantage in the championship game.
Old Dominion versus the mighty UL Monroe Warhawks for the Sun Belt Championship. Can't wait to see it.
Man,
very excited.
Good thing we might be on ESPN or ABC for that one.
And then think of what Coach Vincent's going to have to do with the cash box at halftime. After that,
he's running the raffle, and I hope, honestly, I hope that happens, and they televise it. Right.
We got our 50-50 winner here.
Look at him. He's flipping burgers in the press box.
Oh, what are we going to give Kirk Herbstreit?
Directing traffic. He's wearing an orange vest, apron.
Oh, good coverage. All right, I'm done. I got nothing else to say. We're gonna put this one to bed and move on to Oregon State. But Charles, is there anything you have? Any words of wisdom for the folks?
There's a lot of day left, but the wisdom is run out.
There you go. Thanks to Appalachian Commercial Real Estate for sponsoring this episode. And until our preview episode, go Apps.